The hunger was almost upon me, and it was time to feed whilst I still had control over my own actions. I dressed accordingly, in clothes that revealed my figure without being too common. Even after hundreds of years, I was still very aware of my mother's words on dressing appropriately for any social occasion. I was always relieved that she never learned of what I became after clawing my way out of the cold earth and the social circles that I had become accustomed to. Monsters such as myself, murderers, would-be rapists, my prey.
I have to speak to you, to reach you somehow. If only you knew how I'd been thinking about you, wondering how you would react when I tell you this. But I feel that I must. I just can't go on pretending anymore, looking away while you are stood right before me, giving me glimpses of the life I've always dreamt about. I know about you. I know what you are. Don't worry, I understand. I think it's a wonderful thing.
The campfire had just grudgingly flickered into life, the damp sticks producing as much smoke as they did light. The woman, a nun, knelt on the floor warming her hands, whilst the two guards stood nearby, grumbling to each other. "Dame Starton," the taller of the two guards addressed the woman, "begging your pardon, but I'd ask you to reconsider. This forest ain't safe." The woman shook her head and silently asked God for strength before replying, "Master Warder, I have left the title of Dame behind. I am the Prioress of Kirklees now." "As you say, ma'am, but I'd still ask you to reconsider." There seemed to be a small edge of panic or anxiety in the grizzled man's voice. "Master Warder, for better or worse, I fear we are stuck in the forest until day breaks. I will not risk the horses by stumbling blind through the undergrowth."
Walking through the jungle in typical zombie style, arms extended fully outward, palms pointing to the ground, Boss Zombie's pop eyes rolled from side to side. He was looking for Zombie 2058. Suddenly, he heard someone singing. He would have turned his head in that direction, but zombies can't actually do that because of calcified neck muscles. Instead, he shifted his weight so that his rotted feet twisted toward the sound. As he moved forward, he heard,
"No business like show business, like no business I know." "What the hell are you doing?"
he hollered when he spotted Zombie 2058 hopping around on his only remaining rotting leg.
Time is of the essence. I want there to be some chronicle of events so that the record will be set straight at some point, whatever is to become of me. This is the truth as I lived it, and this is not an easy thing for me to put onto paper. You see, for a little over 3 centuries, I have been keeping my activities secret, hidden from those I wish to serve. It has been far from easy maintaining a veil over what I do and who I am, but all of that work is now undone. I have been forced to reveal myself to the world, and as much as it pains me, there was no other way. Choices are there to be made, not pondered over, as the moment you begin to ponder, the choice may have already been made for you.
The thing sat perched on top of the car. The car's roof had caved inward, barely able to support the thing's massive weight as its eyes stared at him with burning hatred, and the night's breeze ruffled its brown fur. Greg could only wonder how things had gotten so out of hand. In all his years at this job, he had never been so wrong about what he was up against. It was supposed to have been a were-creature. That was what all the reports the church had given him had said, But this thing before him was much more than that. It was a demon, straight from the depths of hell itself.
Came the sinister laugh, ringing out along the empty corridors, like an irritating sound effect on a ghost train. Bob Stokes slammed down his book and cocked his head to the side. This was the second time he had heard the noise. Initially he had assumed he was imagining things, but now he was sure there was someone there. "I'll bet it's one of those bloody tramps again," he said to himself angrily. The single light bulb suspended from the ceiling above cast a cold light around the small room, making the darkness in the surrounding passageways seem all the more complete. Bob tried to ignore his growing sense of isolation, but it wasn't easy.
Everyone says they want to be flies on walls, but no one means it. They think they want to see great things, like maybe secrets and maybe people in the shower, and I guess they do. But what they don't realize is that that isn't what you see. Not at all. You see other things, things you never wanted, much less planned for, and it's not all it sounds like. Not that glorious, you know. I found that one out, as they say. You see, for a short while, I could see everything.
Sate opened his eyes to pitch darkness. He closed them, then reopened them just to check, then crossed his eyes for good measure. Everything was black. "Soaked," he muttered. The words surfaced from his mildly insane subconscious. He turned over to go back to sleep, but realised that his bed was made of planks. He sat up and became aware of three things. Firstly, there was no light to speak of, not even the pale glow of the moon reflecting off of his skin. It was, he decided, a complete absence of light. Secondly, his ears felt like they'd been bunged with cork soaked in vegetable oil. Lastly, he was bobbing. He scrambled at this point, feeling for his surroundings, and his knuckles racked the side, giving a wooden clunking sound. With a wet arse and his knees pressing the gritty floor, he felt around. In a boat? He thought. Bobbing in a boat. The realisation made him feel ill.
The forest seemed to whisper as the cool breeze blew through the trees, rustling the leaves. It was a late autumn evening, and it looked like it was going to be a harsh winter if the weather so far was anything to go by. The gentle calm of the place was suddenly broken by the sound of galloping horses' hooves on the hard earth, as a rider came into view through the dark cover of the trees. It was a man, sitting strong and tall on a large black stallion, horse and rider in perfect harmony as they wove their way through the forest.